We're only a few weeks into the NFL season, and I think it's fair to say the New York Jets are cooked. Their season is over, and there are so many reasons for this. Some will say it's because of the coaching, while others argue it's the fault of their quarterback. And to those people, I tell them, you're not wrong. Hell, some Jets fans believe that the organization as a whole is cursed, and that they gave up their souls to win that Super Bowl more than 60 years ago. And honestly, I see where they're coming from, because it feels like every decision that the Jets make is the wrong one. And nothing is a better example of this than the recent firing of head coach Robert Saleh. After a slow 2-3 start to the season, owner Woody Johnson calls it quits, says he's done with Robert Saleh. In fact, his firing was so immediate that Saleh didn't have time to tell his players or even pack up any of his things. He was escorted out of the building by security. That's how quickly Woody Johnson wanted this man out of the building. And it blindsided everybody, from fellow coaches to players. You hear Aaron Rodgers go on the Pat McAfee show and talk about how he had no idea Robert Saleh was going to get fired. And I know some fans may not believe him and in fact speculate that Aaron Rodgers is the one pulling the strings over there in New York, and we'll get more into that in a second. But for right now, I really just want to focus on Saleh's firing, because it makes no sense at all. Do I believe that Robert Saleh was part of the problem in New York? Absolutely. I think that he needed to go. I agree with Woody Johnson in firing Saleh. However, should he have done it 5 games into the season? Hell no. I mean, if Robert Saleh was given this short of a leash heading into the year, Woody Johnson should have just fired him before the season started and built up a new culture with a new head coach, at the beginning of the 2025 season. Instead, the Jets are stuck in a bit of a limbo here and have to try and win a Super Bowl with an interim head coach, which has never been done, by the way. And if we look at how the players reacted to Saleh's firing, the defensive guys loved them. I mean, considering the fact that Saleh was a defensive coordinator before he got the head coaching position, I think it's fair to say that he spent a majority of his time with the defense, right? And so a lot of the defensive guys on the Jets love Saleh, love the way he coaches, and he's been there for 4 years at this point, so he's grown attached to most of them. And hell, it feels like Rodgers didn't mind Saleh being there either. And the real problem with the Jets so far this season has been their offense. And one interesting thing about Saleh's firing is that a few hours before Robert Saleh was fired, he had actually taken away play calling duties on the offensive side from Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett was no longer in charge of calling plays, and then a few hours later, Saleh gets the call that he is done with. So maybe there's a correlation there, who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers didn't like the fact that his guy, Hackett, was getting his job stripped away, so he ended up talking to the big boss upstairs in Woody Johnson, and they came together and decided it was time Saleh needs to go. But even then, this move makes no sense. I mean, if we take a look at it from a financial angle, 2 years left. That's how much time Robert Saleh had on his contract this season and next season. And the money is guaranteed. So Woody Johnson still has to go out and pay Robert Saleh anywhere from $5 to $7 million a year for the next 2 years. So even if the Jets do find a long-term coach this season or next season, they'll basically be paying for 2 different head coaches at the same time. And we'll talk more about what this move means for the Jets and their future in a second, but for right now, I just wanted to remind you guys to slow down, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Every subscription is greatly appreciated, and we're on the road to 5,000. All right, now let's get back into the video. You see, the thing about the Jets firing Saleh is that they were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders this year. This was looked at as a team that had the makeup to win a Super Bowl. Their roster is talented enough to do so. Even I believe that. I mean, we've seen Aaron Rodgers go out and do it before. Lead a team throughout the entire length of a season and win them a Super Bowl. Maybe it's been more than a decade since that's happened, but still, it's very possible. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers' play has declined so much so that he isn't the same Aaron Rodgers who was winning MVPs left and right like a handful of years ago. I think that Aaron Rodgers is still a top 10 talent at the QB position in the NFL, so I think the Jets could get it done. But with the amount of dysfunction in the organization right now, who knows what the Jets' future is going to look like. I mean, Woody Johnson has never done something like this before. He's owned the team for 20 plus years, and never in Jets history has Woody Johnson fired a coach mid-season. So there must be more going on behind the scenes that we aren't even aware of. That's the only logical explanation for firing Saleh so early. This is definitely one of those moves where it's the right decision at the wrong time. I mean, the Jets still have 3 very difficult matchups left in this month alone. With 4 games remaining before November rolls around, I could easily see the Jets ending the month with a record of 3-6 and looking far out off of the playoff picture. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers has been solid, but has he been good enough to the point where he can carry a team to a winning record without the head coach there? I don't know. I mean, if we look at Aaron Rodgers' stats so far this season, he does got 7 touchdowns on the season, along with 4 interceptions, 1,000 passing yards, and about a 61% completion percentage, which is pretty low compared to his previous seasons, especially the ones with Green Bay, but he is recovering from that major Achilles injury that took him out the entirety of last season, so you've got to give him time to deal with that. And you can't tell me that the Jets aren't trying to contend this season. I mean, they're still in the running to go out and trade for Davante Adams before the trade deadline rolls around. And with Robert Saleh's firing thrown into the mix, who knows what happens with the Davante Adams situation. Adams really only wanted to go to 2 teams, either the New Orleans Saints, where Derek Carr plays, or the New York Jets and team up with Aaron Rodgers, because that duo is extremely dynamic. And if you're one of those conspiracy theorists that believe that Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers are the only 2 people in charge in New York, then yes, you could still see the team going out and making a move for Davante Adams. And I think that's still the best option here, because at the end of the day, the Jets' Super Bowl window is only as long as Aaron Rodgers' career. As soon as Aaron Rodgers is out the door in New York, the Jets' Super Bowl chances plummet all the way to the bottom. I think they hit that rebuild button immediately, because without Aaron Rodgers, there is no future for this team. So why not go out, trade a 2nd round pick and maybe a little more for Davante Adams and just try to win the whole damn thing. Be the first team to win with an interim head coach. I think that is the plan. Honestly, I do see the Jets Super Bowl window only lasting maybe 1-2 more seasons max, and it's going to be very difficult for them to win it all this season. The only reason I give the Jets a chance to make the playoffs is because their division doesn't look the strongest. Miami without Tua is basically just the Titans offense. It absolutely sucks. And then you've got the Patriots, who are switching between quarterbacks left and right. Do they start Drake May this week? Are they going to keep going with Jacoby Brissett? You know, it's very flip-floppy up in New England. The only good team in the division are the Buffalo Bills, and even the Buffalo Bills don't look as scary as they have in past seasons. So the only reason I'm giving the Jets a chance here is because their division is a bit wishy-washy at the moment. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to say on the situation, so I think we're going to end it here. Catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.